that the government of India is all set to take up with the World Bank on their funding to Pakistan, which is set to happen in June 2025. More information coming in of how the government will raise this with FATF to put Pakistan in the grey list. World Bank is expected to approve a $20 billion lending package to Pakistan in June. And the government of India that is strongly going to oppose this, asking FATF to put Pakistan in the grey list again. Karishma Asudani, correspondent, joining us with further details on what the approach could be, Karishma, because Pakistan cannot be trusted. And the entire world is watching that. We've seen how IMF came to its rescue recently. Now, they have been on the grey list of FATF even in the past, and government of India is going to push for it. But what do they possibly need such huge aids for? For funding terror or for the betterment of their people is the biggest question that India is posing.
See, it's very important for us to understand that all this happening in the aftermath of conflict has a bigger agenda, a bigger motive. And while India's stance has been clear that India is not against providing funds, that funds being provided to countries, to developing countries who are in need of urgent fiscal support, but at a time of situation of conflict, of war, where the agenda seems more prone towards cross-border terrorism, India has taken its stand sternly and firmly. Now, Government of India in World Bank in June is also going to take up with World Bank its upcoming funding of close to $20 billion to Pakistan. India is clear of this, that despite the fact that IMF had went ahead with its decision, and while it's not IMF's voluntary decision, it's really how the majority of votes work on the board of IMF, which has close to about 24 executive directors, countries representing, with EU and US holding the majority of shares. So while IMF funding was something that did not come in as a pleasant acceptance for India, India is now clear that they're going to raise it with FATF and World Bank both to stop any kind of further fiscal support that is being given to Pakistan. In fact, sources have shared with us that India had shared with IMF well before their board meeting, which was on May 9th, also shared with the executive director of IMF and also shared with the counterparts of IMF that India's need and India's ask is not just because of the conflict, but also because of the history that Pakistan carries. Out of the 35, out of the 28 bailout packages that have been given to Pakistan by IMF, it has been proved that each bailout package has only contributed to IMF, to Pakistan actually increasing their arms and ammunition, which is against structural reforms that IMF lists. So we are clear, we are going ahead, we are still on our agenda that we are not going to let any cross-border terrorism requests and support be taken up at international level.
Right.
And sources have told us that India is firm on its point
Right.
of view, and India is willing to stand on its own.
All right, Karishma, I want to thank you for these latest details. Of course, we continue to track the story very closely.